barnacle stuck on the bottom of my boat that passed for human contact these days. Before the Great Divide came, when we were staring at each other across this canyon. Once the closest of companions, until this monstrous ogre that only allowed things to go its own way came in between us and fast-tracked our dying day. In the dying of the light I did give myself a fright. We seemed near, despite the distance. Was it all a hung-drawn conclusion? Living at my own illusion, she hasn't abandoned me just yet, though I would if I was in her slick little kicks, giving her yet another reason to regret. Watch me regress back into the person that I was before. Oh Lord, help me out. I will still praise you even if it isn't hip. Give you more than lip service, signed on for life, even if they replace my face and hips. Even if I lose my grip, I know you won't let me slip away from you. Your angels catch me every time I fall. I skip stones, not glasses. Studying this long division, how much more do we have to endure? Now we are further on our journey together. Some of us are getting older, and we're still no closer to becoming fathers and mothers. Don't tell me the party's over when we've only just begun. My small toy tin soldier girl. Those roads could be a wall we must climb, or a mountain we need to ascend. These sleep-deprived eyes can't summon up a method to scale the heights of your overwhelming discontent. Fill me in with all the details I missed out on. While you were chasing whales, flukes, I wrote you into tales and stuck you on the trophy shelf in my mind's eye. As my muscles began to die and atrophy from disuse, I know you push yours way too hard. I see you dance among the stars. Come take a ride upon my steed. Let's cruise off into these midnight blues. You could be my strongest muse in your absence, just as much if not more than you were when I was still chilling in your presence. We only had a brief moment together. I feel isolated in time, strung together between gaps. We never got more intimate than the instant water and heat allowed, along with the comfortable solitude, that sweet companionship blossoming between us, charged with electricity. Other pairs of eyes watching us, causing me to be more cautious than I might have been if I had you all to myself, knowing they could rush in on us suddenly, questioning what exactly we were doing. I dashed back to the church too early. I didn't know that was going to be my last time capturing your attention offline, because the next occasion when I saw you I found you completely lost to me, your face wandering in another world. Remember when you were competing with your friend to tell me the story of that fantastic movie, the one where you disappeared between dimensions? I wonder if you mentioned the discussions to your parents. I never coerced you into doing anything illegal. I just urged you to go deeper like a submarine or scuba diver in your exploration of scripture. Your heart was set on talking about your holidays. I'm like you, I always love to investigate new places besides my own. Now will you ever find someone to lay your bones beside? The memory of you refuses to wash away with the morning tide. The older you get, the more your beauty increases. I see you ripening and maturing by the minute. You don't need those digital alterations, honey. You're gorgeous enough without those fake eyes or slicing half of your face off to squeeze it in between two fingers. Can we stick that contouring in a can and flush it down the river? It's like a highway robber delivering up the innocence of little kids into its crooked hands. It seems like some kids these days are growing up faster than ever. Give them time to muck around and have fun. Let them not be so obsessed with relationships. Infants shouldn't be hooking up. You're not old enough to handle those heavy feelings weighing down your heart like bricks or rocks shoved down your socks. I know you come from the school of hard knocks. You have to get bare knuckle bruises for every little piece of success you've ever achieved, unlike getting opportunity handed to you on a platter like me, born with a silver spoon in my mouth, living a good life, dodging misery like trains do bullets. My horsepower is too intense for it to ever catch up with me. I wasn't pummeled by providence, just problems piled up all around me. Can we collect evidence on how to live a life that's truly happy and free? Because I haven't figured that one out yet. How to break the ice, or once that task is done, to hold her attention from here straight through to the end of eternity, taking an interest in the details of her life, even if her experience is foreign to me. I never had that level of patience and endurance like she did. I never had the self-discipline to put in the practice. She's doing what she loves. She's a champion in the making. She's a living legend who, by our good Lord, has never been forsaken. How many medals has she got upon her wall right now? What amount of certificates and rewards has she gained? for all the blood, or for all that blood, sweat, and tears, pushing your body to the max, all those injuries and strained tendons. It's worth it in the end to know you made your folks and everyone you came into contact with proud, just to know you, even if some had a far more spurious claim than others, to grab a piece of you for themselves and claim that memory formed a lasting connection. I know I'm not deceiving myself, because in your eyes it counts for something, though I might think the way you think about me is different to how it ever really was truly. I know you used to admire me once. I used to be a hero to you of sorts, though you never expressed so out loud. This is just me playing guessing games by how your eyes used to be open wide, and you were excited to see me, bubbling out with joyous waterfalls of words that I couldn't get enough of. I just wanted them to flow over me, soothing my troubled mind. Battered by the chore of going nowhere fast, I know it wasn't just a chance to obtain gifts. You value my time more than what my money could buy. It always brought me so much pleasure watching you unwrap those presents, splashing and jumping around amongst the man-made geysers together. I still recall when you educated me on how a rainbow is created, and I begged to differ, disputing with you that it was God, not just something that resulted without any divine intervention being mentioned. You didn't disagree, you just came at it from a different angle. Now you're waltzing with the angels in my head. They always said you were more grown up than your age on paper said, but I wanted you to be a little girl and enjoy the pleasures of being your mama's precious princess, her pride and joy that she would give the world, so you could always possess lasting happiness. Where's the top? Trapped in time, a frog covered in slime. It had only just expelled the indigestion. Twist my mind in a plethora of different directions. They said I lacked the fortitude to handle any kind of correction. Hearing the police come and shouldn't turn my nose to ice cubes. Why do I wrestle with my guilty conscience so often? Why can't it be clean and clear? Your perfect love casts out of fear. So I've been told the right way to think and act. I have no one to blame but myself if I stray from the righteous path. Didn't mean to leave you crestfallen when you saw I wasn't all that interested in prioritizing the mental meanderings of my friends, providing feedback at the soonest opportunity, sticking to one side of preoccupations of my psyche, because there will always be enough for one that comes along, something that you simply must see or hear, or both simultaneously. What's got the crowd buzzing from its popularity? How severe do you want my punishment to be? I was hopping on and off my lily pads and logs. Mama said, kid, don't let your future go to the dogs. Papa said, make sure you always treat women with respect. Don't take advantage of them when they're in vulnerable positions. I never made her do anything she didn't want to do with me. If she was seriously not interested, she would have been more voluminous, protesting, pushing me away. When she said my hands were naughty, I thought she was just teasing. I know what made her feel uncomfortable, but I tried to soothe her nervous. How we had more fun together than scary times when I thought I might be locked up in those cups, trying to lead her with questions she didn't fully comprehend the answers she gave me, determined if I walked away in handcuffs. They might have fought harder to indict me if they knew you were a citizen of this country. They didn't know about the black clouds hovering over your head, nor would they have been the slightest bit interested if you took the time to explain to them all the cultural nuances. How in your place a boy and girl were barely seen sitting together or standing in the same spot if they weren't married, yet alone holding hands or snuggling when we're not hid behind the bushes but out in full display. Okay, Dad. I only just came out here, Dad. I never made her do anything she didn't want to do with me. If she was seriously not interested, she would have been more voluminous, protesting, pushing me away when she said my hands were naughty. I thought she was just teasing. I know what made her feel uncomfortable, but I tried to soothe her nervous heart. We had more fun together than scary times when I thought I might be locked up. Those cops trying to lead her with questions she didn't fully comprehend. The answers she gave me determined if I walk away in handcuffs. They might have fought harder to indict me if they knew you were a citizen of this country. They didn't know about the black clouds hovering over your head, nor would they have been the slightest bit interested if you took the time to explain to them all the cultural nuances. How in your place a boy and girl were barely seen sitting together or standing in the same spot if they weren't married, yet alone holding hands or snuggling when we're not hid behind the bushes, spread out in full display of everyone who strolls along the river banks, admiring us along with the mangroves and twisting jack around the branches. There's one flower with sweet syrup contained inside its petal chamber that always reminds me of you, giving me hope that we might once again be more than fading strangers. Clamber up my daydream, paint the scenery, rearrange it so it looks more like your face. If I can handle the grief of not being able to hold you in my arms, oh lovely lady, it drives me crazy, when I pushed you away. Did I just shoot my last chance of happiness in the foot? Was my eagerness to get going again with a brand new relationship a dead giveaway? I am far too hasty for my own good. I shouldn't have badgered you with all those questions from the get-go. I should have given you time to get used to the idea that we might be turning into a couple instead of rushing through the instead of rushing through the wedding details. On that first afternoon of our soul connection, you knew I was serious. We didn't lose track of the hours, but they sure sped by fast, and it didn't matter that we were doing nothing more special than eating sandwiches at a bus stop. Not gourmet ones either, the cheapest I could possibly provide on the meager funds available to me at the time. My first mistake was talking about the cost of food in your hearing, so you thought it would be wrong to ask of me or an expensive item. I should have stitched my lips silent. Next time I'll plan a cruise on the river 10 times better if God gives me a chance to show you the joy of romance again. Until then I'll keep on praying and dreaming, saving up my coins just in case I get an opportunity to see your face in the evening breeze. We mostly disappeared from each other before the light started to fade. I was fixated with the idea that I had to get home before it got dark, because I didn't want to be heaven unseemly or untoward with you, though I know I crossed the line and didn't align my heart with the cross. Always when we were in each other's company, I wanted to paint your smile on every window in the world. It's so beautiful. Would I be a fool to hug it all in my veins, stubborn old self? We couldn't find a place to grab a coffee on that date. If only you would be willing to step inside the sanctuary, we could have killed a few more hours. You were like Chinese food in your moods, taking turns to be both sweet and sour with me. Time may have healed the wounds of your heart. You were willing to forgive me enough to listen to the sound of my voice again. Sometimes these crusty aged ears struggle to hear you all that well, yet on other occasions your sweet dulcet tones are crispy and clear. No strain is required to detect exactly what those noises are supposed to represent. Suddenly it all makes sense. Will you ever come to me or I to you once more? Shall we review all that we pursued, those dreams we once held close to our hearts? We can still pick up where we left off, can't we? Above the roar of the traffic or the raging lion like sea. As if she was disturbed by somebody attempting to pinch her cubs from underneath her wings while she did sleep. It was nothing short of a miracle when you decided to sit with me in church, knowing we would see each other again the next day. I didn't push the issue of us gobbling lunch in each other's company. You knew my hands were chained. I'm glad you went against whatever kind of judgment was bouncing around inside your brain, telling you not to see me because I was too much of a cause for public embarrassment. At least you didn't charge me guilty with harassment. That's purely selfish thinking. Concentrating on self-saving my own skin. It was only once, not twice. We passed each other like two ships in the night, going out different doors to the same venue. Why did those idiots make more than one anyway? I never knew. At least I can always reach you now when we can never have that problem happen again, and say it was purely an accident. The indwelling conundrums of the discontent. The discontinued merchandise sitting on a rotten shelf somewhere in the backyard of a mall shop. I could have called you up anytime I liked once and took for minimal expense. We only pulled with one all-nighter. The heat was so intense, showing up haggard to church, swearing we'd never do that again. We didn't hold each other all through the storm. We could have played out our own rom-com. Did we find humor in the tragedy of us? This is what happens when you trust God less than your own burning instinct. Afraid of you slipping through my fingers. I didn't realize when I was fueling your resolve to dash off my love. Attempting to satisfy my itch for love and travel, till I'm stitched in a bag meant for human meat. While my folks rest, I poke fun at everyone who thought I couldn't pass the test. Why do I beat my breastbone about those suckers who won't leave me alone? Those ticks and leeches who keep trying to suck the blood out of my stream. Those who forgot I am second over my every thought and decision. Jah reigns supreme. I can waste a lot of time going into useless details. The accusations of the enemy cause me to be consumed until there's nothing left of me but entrails. I can feel these claws around my neck. I can barely exhale. I wonder who will prevail over my life. I know Jehovah wins in the end. I wanna be on the winning side, but wouldn't you want to have victory over the enemy that pursues you relentlessly, that won't even give you space in your dreams, that breathes all over your body while you sleep? Attempted to breed its little minions inside your spirit, unable to force you to be a slave. He attempts to coerce you instead, keeping your eyes on everything but Jah's bread. Knowing that you're a life force, a source of hope and wisdom, expunging the darkness, illuminating it from your system, cleansing the core of your conscience, filtering out all the impurity of the enemy. They say if we focus on the battle, we give too much glory to the wrong team. We have to find balance in all things, swinging off those high beams. My tears stream down my cheeks 7 days a week. How much does my heart break for those who aren't just metaphorically going through hell, but literally heading towards it with every evil choice that they make? Finding themselves in greater bondage to the enemy, lowering their standards, leaving them so confused they no longer know the difference between right and wrong anymore. They brought the lie that truth is relative. They sold them the poor key that either God or the devil or neither one exists. They act like we aren't in a war, just on a holiday camp. You can stick a stamp on a postcard or an envelope and send home your thoughts to mama. Wish you were here, but she doesn't know, or does she? About the spirits that interfere with your peace while you attempt to sleep. They say there's no rest for the wicked, but I know righteous who are insomniacs also, up all nights, praying for those caught up in the traps of the enemy. You wanted your beloved disciples to stay up for just an hour in the middle of the night, watching and waiting with you. Be in that praying generation. Imagine having face-to-face conversations with the one who in Old Testament times was referred to the angel of the Lord, but we now know was much more than just an angel. The great high priest, the Son of God, firstborn of all creation, uncreated supreme being, leader of the holiest order that ever was or will be. Never going extinct like a bilby, bareheaded, not going round rocking the trilby. Distinctive in his claims to be the chief life and way, and proven by the fact he was the only one who ever possessed human form, who returned from the grave among those calling themselves the ruler of all entities and author of life itself. It's only through you the dead will ever return to a conscious mind state. Awake the sleepers hidden among the jungle creepers, tangled up in the limbs of the rainforest trees, nestled amongst those damp and pleasant canopies. The one whose death naturally clears the way for us to walk the path of high ground, entering into eternal rest. Nestled under his loving feathers, that's where I can be found, in that abode of peace, where grace and mercy surrounds the me I am. Hates who I used to be, the old man steady left my head. Now it's only custom me they see when they look at me. The path we pick determines our destiny. Even if we get sidetracked along the way, the journey isn't as important as keeping our eyes focused on the end goal, where we are bent on winding up, no matter what it takes to get us there. Even if we endure the worst kind of torture, or undergo the ordeal of having all our friends and family fall away from you and being subject to their mockery, we can't just join the crowd, so cause we know we are called to embrace a place and a face we haven't seen yet believe in. Beholding the manifestation of his miracles, clinging to those testimonies, stories of others who have been to heaven and hell and back again. Some who have witnessed the glories and delights of paradise with their very own eyes. I stand by my conviction, advancing, never retreating. I won't perish like some people I know was sure to, without having that deep, intimate relationship with you, my holy maker. Unless they see the light before their dying day, a vast portion of the human population is going to fall away from grace. We can already see it happening, but we take heart. Let it spur us on, knowing there's a job of saving souls from hell's holes to be done. There is no torture device on earth that operates as a perpetual motion machine, but in the home of the evil one, such technology is being used incessantly. Why is it that we, who are aware of the consequences of our actions, continue to allow our minds to be molded to the notion that we just can't change, wrestling with desires that we need to exchange? You rearrange our future so it looks like your face. We don't want to wind up in such unless we experience the joy of the Lord and laugh our heads off. Then they have to be stitched back together again, reunited with our stubborn necks. I am donkey-like in my resoluteness. Start a revolution in me, let my heart remain unpolluted by the ways of the world. And if it needs cleaning up, I invite you to purge it of its sewage. I'm sick of crawling through drainage pipes just to get to that area of serenity, that little island inside your soul, where all is well and no monster can touch or tempt me. They can't even smell, taste, or see me. I am so far above and beyond their poisonous, ghastly reach. I question the notion of a hedonistic lifestyle increasing in public acceptability being anything but unhealthy for the entire galaxy. Let us not remain like prawns in a net of regrets. Let us abstain from those activities that causes your eyes to drip waterfalls of tears over us. Jesus, I'm sorry for all that I said and did which caused your heart to be shattered in shards. I love to feel your spirit moving me. I dig the groove of those rhythms designed only to please you, living out the true purpose. The music of imagination's capacity only ever intended to lift your name above all names. No pretender can steal your holy throne. Your children will be known as your ambassadors of love. who offer a heart with no strings attached. All you ask of us is simply to unmask ourselves and bask in your presence, to surrender control to the only one able to console us. I know we have rebel spirits, quiet the raging sea in us, devour it with your love. When all my work is done and there's no more tomorrows left for me to sing my songs, carry them on. I thought that you would be the one to stick around forever and never let me go out in the cold and trust that's no on my own. I think I've learned a lesson by now that I understand I shouldn't trust anyone, but that I should be careful who I give my heart to. Guard it carefully in case it gets misused. I would be lying if I said I ever bothered to take that sound advice, cause it was coming out of a mouth that dabbled in compromise and drifted towards the edge of the lunatic fringe. But I won't whinge about the specifics of the vessels you choose, cause I've got everything to gain and nothing left to lose. Can I see wisdom in those acting like fools? Seeing as you can use a jackass, it's not too much of a stretch of the imagination, like rubbery limousines expanded over a Grand Canyon. I can picture in my mind's eye the boldest warriors of the enemy turning to the light. You were so sublime, you were left beyond the end of time, as we know it for you exist outside of it. How else could you be everywhere at once unless I've got my bodyguards of Logos and Rima to back me up? I shouldn't write checks unable to be grasped by my butt, so with a stutter and splutter and start I make my way over to your heart. I elect to be utilized by you to reveal your secret world to those who have suppressed it from themselves, and those who have been impressed by others, kept from the beauty of that true knowledge. The mountains and giants are tearing themselves down now. The false prophets and idol worshippers are gassing themselves, dashed with knives of illusion. Everything's fine. And they're sitting on top of the world, when truly they're seated at the bottom of the ocean, looking up at us, who have been claimed by the Trinity, snatched from the devil's grip, slipping away from the darkness that once claimed us as its children. I only use my old life for the person that I used to be as an illustration of the change God has wrought in me, in his soul foundry. Passing through the fire of his Holy Spirit, I come out changed. Cut away everything in me that's not of you, and that tries to exalt itself above your deity. Let me never attempt to steal your glory from myself. I am conscious of the war I fought with both vanity and shame, thinking too little of myself or too much, straining to find a balance in between these two extreme positions. Oh Lord, I'm your possession. Like a magician, you work your magic on me. Like a physician, you heal my infirmities. The architect of this Holy Spirit has said it's me. And everything in the world I see, created to bring praises to you, Almighty, valiant commander-in-chief. I can't be brief in pouring out my grief. By you I am relieved, not of my duty, but of the burden. I am relieved, not of my duty, but of the burden of sorrow I have carried, tarrying so long, even after I married you. Promising my devotion at the altar, bringing my life as a sacrifice of worship. Let me not be a faithful son anymore. I want to be trustworthy, Lord, to serve you with diligence all of my days on earth. I'm grateful that you bore that cross for me, and now after suffering the worst punishment in the world, you live inside my heart. I will adore you, who are adorned with many crowns, your robes of righteousness. You break our bondages. No more am I making covenants with the enemy. Your blood made more than mere siblings of us to you. You drew us deeper into yourselves in that moment. We became one with you, never the same as when you inflamed our hearts with the fire for your love. They couldn't nail you down forever. They couldn't keep you severed from your Father ever. The grave didn't prevent you from working miracles for even 1 second. How else do we think babies are born except via that miraculous spark you provide of life? I'm so grateful you adopted me into your simply wonderful tribe. I have been crucified with Christ, so that I no longer live but you exist in me. This event didn't just occur once, it goes on with each new dawn. Better is one day in your house than thousands elsewhere. It's a privilege to share in your inheritance, and my thoughts and actions can yank that away from me. You retain ownership of my soul as long as I walk in your will. I will dispute your truth till I'm blue in the face, till my body is cold in the ground. I will be found in your embrace. I will not be shaken when the world turns its back on you, when they come round attacking us because of our love for you. We won't settle for giving them easy answers. We will happily expose them to the honest gospel of fire and brimstone. Cause the other side of the coin is the beauty of sticking to you like glue. The marvel's waiting for us if we remain vigilant to the operatives of the enemy, threatening to gobble us up and spit out our bones. Cause there's no part of our humanity he could use. It's the spirit in us, it goes on when the rest of us is gone. In the light of eternity, this mortal life is like a drop in the ocean of our experience. My heart was cloaked in shadows for the longest season of my soul. I knew what I was dabbling with, but not how far its influence would extend from my past into my present. I like to think that if I possessed that knowledge, I wouldn't make the same mistakes I did when I was a kid. But if I had a time machine, I'd probably do it all over again. I don't think that errors in judgment are inevitable, otherwise there would be no hope for us if sin possesses consequences. The events of my life are played out in sequential order. Reverence, I cautiously step ahead on the path of righteousness. I know I shouldn't keep all this vast supply of light and soul all to myself. I need to share my tankard with the world. I've got a truckload of happiness parked within the confines of my backyard. Pull me out of the shadowlands. I know my life is nestled in your holy hands. That borehole to snatch my soul from the snare of the enemy, to make me wholly compatible with your intended destination from the spirit being. If only I could see your eyes watching over us, would I be more mindful of the fact we are called to follow where you lead, no matter how difficult the task may appear to be. Giving flesh to the fantasy you shoved in the slot of my subconscious whirlpool. If I must bring ridicule upon myself, let it be only 'cause I'm drawing attention to the dusk of what used to be me. Now I may be tossed amongst the tusks of elephants like a pitiful little ant, but there's a chance I might break free. I could be slaughtered by someone else's son or daughter, or even my own, if I ever get any. But my soul will still contain the greatest joy and not one drop of misery, knowing I am yours and you are mine, Jehovah, for all eternity. Imagine talking to you nose to nose in the evening's cool. Would I tremble in fear if I had no awareness to build a wall? Picture a world where no sin was plaguing our every move. It can be like this again, and it will in your perfect time. In stillness or rapid motion, I know you are the lord of planets, atmosphere, and oceans. You are the cure to all my pain, the one who teaches me how to smile again when my brain needs a little re-education, when I'm struggling to trust, trying my hardest not to become a slave to pride and lust. You are faithful and just to forgive my sins and cleanse me from all unrighteousness, washing me clean just like the rain, removing all traces of my stains. You made your mark on my life, now you hold my little existence in your hand. Teach me how to understand all your purposes and plans. Your ways are higher than mine. Oh, ancient of days, shine through every year of my life. Let me not slip away from your side. My future's shining bright because I'm walking in your light, following in your footsteps, being a minuscule shadow of your larger form. I can feel the calm before the storm. You want to worship from me. You don't want me to just to entertain or perform. Purge me of that cynical, skeptical part of me that sees the world through critical, analytical eyes, evaluating everything way too much, pushing away the slightest inkling of purest love. My freedom was purchased with your blood. You promised in your word to never give me up. You want something real with me, not fake. You were calling me deeper, putting my knees towards the floorboards, taking me higher, inspiring me to soar at kestrel's heights. I sense a vast reluctance, keeping the soul at the shallow end, just barely scratching the surface of friendship. As much as we say we wish to be done with masks and pretense, I see we strange still, not to lay down our defenses. It's tricky to admit those areas where we're defective. To be vulnerable with each other, approach honestly our wounds and failings. Quit acting like we're perfect. That's how we fall on our swords, piercing our necks. Suspicion can be the death of friendship. Assuming you know what's about somebody with no basis to justify your spurious accusations. This is what happens when you keep your distance. You fill in the blanks. Let fear whisper where faith should be engaged in dialogue with your heart on the regular. I felt like I was sticking my head in the mouth of a lion, and the jaws were ever tightening around my skull, feeling like I'm getting crushed by this paranoia's weight. In the dreaded anticipation of defeat, like in the cold defeat, that fire to shovel my way out of here. This engine room is burning up. I'm turning butter in your vat, puzzled over what is round the corner. Certain that you've got this life of mine nestled safely in your hands. I don't pin my hopes on magic wands being waved to cure my insecurity. My confidence is found in Christ alone. I keep on missing out on those I haven't seen you when they just hug. 'cause I don't know how to handle it when it's the opposite sex, and I've gotten myself in trouble for being too up close and personal before, wanting too much too soon from her. So I shot that opportunity in the foot to snatch a little body warm from the slide. Is it winter that makes people feel warmer or friendlier? Or is it just a sweet Christ-like nature, the anointing of God oozing all over her? Stumbling my way through awkward conversation. If I didn't make you wanna call the cops or hide behind a bush, I guess that means the two of us are making some kind of progress. Dashing off like a rocket back to your seat. You could launch me to the heavens when you sing over that beat. Please don't make a hasty retreat when you spot me heading in your direction from a distance. Remember when I saw you when we just come back from church and you still lived in the same town as complex as my friends? I love to see your smile and I'm thrilled to watch your eyes light up at the sight of me. I just wish we had the chance to catch up properly. People just slip through my fingers like a clumsy, creamy fingered kid attempted to clutch a bag of marbles with holes pockmarked in it close to his chest. I couldn't get any rest, knowing you were in trouble, though I know my God will always watch over you until the day we meet again. I don't mind all the difficulties that come my way, 'cause my lungs are still inhaling and exhaling, my heart is still beating thanks to you. The sun is shining and all is well with my soul. I am home safe and sound. I may have gotten a little lost trying to find my way back to the train station, but you gave me a mom and several friendly strangers to guide me. No matter where I go, you're always traveling right beside me. Even though I can't see you, I still know you're there. My invisible, invincible friend, faithful till the world ends, reliable, dependable Jesus. What if my fears and stubbornness prevent me from taking part in the most momentous occasions of my body's life? They tell me that I've got to figure out a way to get over this mountain of doubt regarding my safety and the welfare of my long-term companion on this road of existence. Perhaps the brand of crampons required for traversing it doesn't exist inside of heaven. I know I'm a stubborn old goat, but no matter how often you reassure me that everything is gonna be alright and I've got no reason to fret, the more I start to sweat. You can't convince a panicky person the illusion lots in their head isn't the opposite of sensible. How do I keep this anxiety from attacking me? This is far less spurious, grounded in fact, not pie in the sky, floating over my head with vicious munching teeth, attempting to drill a hole in my skull, besides the 7 which God already placed there initially. From the moment I was born, formed in his image, would I have just had a nice relaxing afternoon with chilled out vibes and happy moods if this terror wasn't talking to me quite so loud. But I can't pull its chatterboxing voice out my head or turn down its incessant volume. I don't know how to get rid of it. What does it mean to love someone when you're afraid out of your cranium to be anywhere near them? When being close to them, I mean fast tracking your own demise. I can see the danger signs flash right in front of me. Perhaps I'm far too trembly these days. I seem to get nervous at the fluttering at least to the ground, jumping kamikaze like off a tree branch, or the natural removal from molting of a bird whose habits may seem utterly endearing to some and revolting to others. It's kind of annoying when you know a lovely lady's parents, but you just don't know how to take the conversation to a more romantic place with all those eyes watching your every moment. I wish we could go and take this someplace quiet. If you didn't have to get up there on stage and we could rave all day long. Find a club to get a boogie on if you're into that at all. Could I sneak over your wall just to deliver you flowers? How many hours have you got left in your day? Can you handle the disarray that lurks inside of me? On a hairy, weathered afternoon, amongst the fairy wrens and snapping dragon fruit. That sign on the church billboard is reminding me of how we all need forgiveness. Pastor on the radio wants to tell me to focus on what unites us instead of what divides us. That's all very well and good, but what if they burn down every house in our neighborhood? Should we take up arms or lock them in jail or punish the government at the polling booths for failing to protect the ones who voted them into office? What purpose will it serve this earth if I'm burning for revenge? How do I get over this victim mentality and start living like a victor instead? My friends will turn into strangers before they ever become enemies. I can feel my heart becoming colder towards them. It doesn't possess quite the same amount of heat as it used to. I guess we are overly familiar with each other. As a consequence, it's easy for us to take each other for granted. When we've heard each other's jokes and stories a million times before, we can almost predict the next set of words to emerge from the mouths of those we love. Like a rabbit poking its timid head out its burrow hole that regularly that regular that regularly trod road you know so well. Kids came along and complicated the simple-minded, chillaxing times. Look at me trying to play the teacher, yet my lips would be quivering like a shivering bowstring in wind. If I tried to get the words out, I love you, or even a simple phrase, wanna have coffee sometime. I never meant to behave inappropriately towards you. It's hard to move forwards when you've been caught out acting backwards like some imagined men who live in caves to have behaved. Lacking proof that anybody ever planned to hibernate their clans there. I could have kept things light and busy between us if only I hadn't assumed I had the right to declare my affection towards you openly. Perhaps I should have dropped more subtler hints. I didn't mean to cause you public embarrassment. Did you know when I met you when I was with my ex that I was secretly dreaming of you becoming her replacement? I said the stupidest thing today, but you just let it pass without calling me out for my idiocy. I wanted to ask you about your conference. It wasn't that I lacked the confidence, just the competence to summon up the words I needed to come out my mouth when you were standing right there in front of me, looking all beautiful and dazzling. Going into my big speech about how I wanted to reward you when I could have just played it cool and tune my ears into you instead of forcing you to endure my monologue on the virtues of a private 31 woman which you possess in abundance. It's not that great a loss to go another day without the internet just to know that I could have done so much more adeptly at connecting with you. I failed to be the kind of friend who sticks around for life, so I hope that's not a trend for how I choose to run things when and if we're ever husband and wife. Actually, I will never be boss. I'm happy to do my prophetic slapdash attempt at cooking and cleaning for the sake of your love. I could run my fingers around those long curly black ringlets all night, dreaming of holding you tight, seeking you with something more, figure hugging or skin exposing, not those private areas that should be kept only for the eyes of couples, but just a stray glimpse of fat or shoulder. If only I could be bolder than my cowardly custard self, be a footsteps away from the potential fulfillment of my fantasy. Going to grab a bite to eat, I wouldn't even expect a smooch. Thinking about a son and a pooch. You always look so classy and out of my league. I can't believe you'd ever even want to touch me. I know I can't get used to this kind of special treatment, cause for some of us it only comes around once in a lifetime. If that, you're a cool cat. I can picture you sneaking in through my window late at night when I hold my pillow tight, imagining that you'd be a good dancer, seeing you bounce around on stage full of jelly beans and excitement. Look at so in those jeans and that jumper, glamorous and classy, alluring yet modest simultaneously. The hippopotamus is luring the fleet into a false sense of security. The arachnid kids are spinning and weaving their webs around me, fly like a retreat, buzzing for some loving, and a complete puzzle piece, abandoned junk I've ever ready for a brand new yard, or being adopted by the neighborhood dump site, jumping from a great height, wondering why you wasted your life. I know you're using your needle for brilliant purposes. I didn't even get into what it was you do with all that vast amount of time on your hands during the week. It's not like I never held your ear for longer than it takes to cook a pack of instant noodles. How can you take the journey beyond friendly affection, mutual respect and admiration, to something beyond civility and politeness? The politically correct approach to dealing with souls you find cumbersome to handle. If I've already gained your folks' tick of approval, then why are we still pussyfooting around the possibility of the two of us beating around the bush, walking about with the world pulled down over our eyes about each other's potential in a lifelong partnership? You hit the jackpot whenever you come near me. Should I have concentrated my dialogue on your stellar performance? I wasn't trying to rub it in about the fact that others get paid to do what you love. It's possible to feed your family and serve Jesus in music ministry. You don't have to be a tent maker or let your little ones go hungry. I know you've trained yourself to get used to the kind of relationships where someone who loves someone else is always having to fly away. But it doesn't have to be like that with us. You don't have to keep a constant security guard stationed around your heart, afraid to get close to somebody in case you get hurt, so history won't repeat itself. We only have to be like our parents in physical appearance, though we may find ourselves repeating their habits and mannerisms. It helps that I get along with your siblings, but that doesn't mean you're a keeper. Though you've got a whole lot of points in your favor, we still have to see if we can stand aside of one another long enough to endure an evening together without wanting to rip each other to shreds. I know I was too I would wait for you to notice my eyes fixated on your every move, wishing I could witness those vocal acrobatics every morning and evening at private and public events, when it's just the two of us and when the whole world is watching, not daunted by your talent or intimidated by your advanced education, sucking myself up to summon up the necessary courage to tell you how I feel before time's up. Can we rewind back in time to a fortnight ago and pretend I didn't just brush aside your hug in favor for a high five? You can say it as a perfectly reasonable explanation for everything, but there are some lines that I've been taught not to cross. I was told you just don't hit women, be they little girls or fully grown. This is not the example I was shown by my folks when I was a tiny egg yolk. I despise those people who laugh at their own jokes, but I'm one of them too. But I swear I'll never be that kind of dude to insist that everybody shares my cuddles, for different senses of humor do exist. Who am I to try and force another to participate in my mirth? They may look at me like who appointed you the ruler of this soon-to-be gone forever earth? Who died and made you god of this universe? And I would have to reply, I'm glad I didn't get shouldered with the responsibilities of that job. Though I love to have limitless riches, I'd hate to think of all the people I might murder just because they rubbed me up the wrong way. Then later in hindsight, see how we might be useful to each other, see how we might help each other to give the whole world something to smile about, or at least our friends and neighbors. Enemies and strangers become companions thanks to the power of God's magnificent Son. The love you have for us defies explanation. That's why you're the eternal subject of my fascination. Purify my imagination, let it reflect your glory only and never detract from it. Refraction, holy light, distractions slide right on by unnoticed by me, cause I choose to keep you in my focus. Intentionally doing whatever it takes to make sure I remain yours. I don't believe that salvation is something that can't be lost once it's gained. Will we change our losses into victories by simply loosening up a hold on our spare change? I don't need to know what you offered up before the altar of His love. Can you please keep it just a whispered secret between you and God? The left hand isn't supposed to know what the right one is doing. If our kid asks us for a fish, we wouldn't give him or her a stone. Nor would we offer a snake if they begged of us an egg. In the same way, your Heavenly Father takes care of our every need. We shouldn't be like the Pharisees, making a great song and dance about our generosity. Just store up for ourselves treasures in heaven where moth and rust don't destroy and thieves don't break in and steal. I guess you could say I am guilty of putting on a show with my benevolent displays. It's not like I'm attaching flashing neon lights to this moment, calling out everybody look at me. I'm being magnanimous to this particular individual. You can question my motives cause I stand to gain from such kindness, but there are others who will see a need and never bother to lift a finger to assist. Why is it that we insist on always perceiving ourselves as being in the right even when we're in the wrong tonight? You are the shining star that lights up my night. I'm going back to that world I once knew so well. Listen up closely cause I've got a story to tell. Attend your ear to my praying plea. I might be painting a distorted picture using my mouth as a brush and your mind's eye as a canvas. If you were determined to see someone a certain way, then nothing will dissuade you otherwise. Perhaps you might view the boogeyman as present still, when he is just a lingering outline of a shadow, like the nuclear bomb victim whose onset of decay send up a smoke signal to those eagerly awaiting victory over an enemy you would once threatened to bring a hefty chunk of the world under the domination of the rule. You could argue I was getting somewhere, now I'm retreating from any whisper of a career. But this war isn't over for me yet, the grave hasn't sealed in around my head. It's a privilege and a blessing to have a home away from home, no matter how I may act or think, pushing the ones I love away. scared of what might happen next if I creep a little closer to the flames. Let their tongues lick at the currents revealed in me, hidden beneath the surface of our skins. I have that confidence beyond myself. I'm a citizen of heaven right now. The world may run my mouth about the way that things turned out, and how you switched up your cheating on me. And how the more some people try to change, the more they appear to stay exactly the same. But still I live in hope and faith. You switched up your tune on me. You say I've got no reason to fear, but I've seen you trembling, pleading with me to get in the way, to interfere and intervene. Not to leave the battle up to God, but look at what goes on when we lay our weapons down and place our lives in His hands. Even when conflict surrounds us, nothing can separate us from your love. You were fighting alongside us, convicting those who weren't supposed to be your passionate, loving followers. We subscribe to an invisible code of conduct. We teach ourselves not to rock the boat, not to step the peace, to avoid any touchy subjects that might strike a raw nerve. Should we provoke a reaction in others, sensing the tension in the wind? To a certain point, we should be free to speak our mind, to say whatever we want, as long as it's not unloving and evil in its origins. You see, truth may hurt before it heals. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but if you only value the honey and not the ripper, man, you will find yourself being led astray. Thinking you were being taken almost to greener pastures in your self-deception. I've got other places I can go. You weren't dead to me yet. I'm not giving up the ghost, but it well might be the day of my departure from this world. Before your eyes lock with my dilated pupils, then will you ever reconsider your decision? One of us chose to walk away, the other one decided to stay. These days my words carry a heavier weight than they once did. I took the easy way out, the cowardly chicken's route. Am I supposed to be your bodyguard, shooting myself in the process of attempting to get through to you? Nobody likes to waste money or admit when they're incorrect in their assumptions about someone's ability to put the past behind them and move on, not returning to it every time a crisis pops up. I don't have more of a spring in my step. I decided to throw these shackles in the drink. There's a whole myriad of motivations swirling around within my head. They wrestle with each other and hammer at my rest. I've been a burden on your back for far too many years. I'm done bringing you tears. Did they come part and parcel with my chocolate delphiniums and tiny teddy bears? These decades have made me weary. Yet fear won't turn this kid into a corpse just yet. We dance upon the ashes of others' expectations for us. I will join you in the chorus of the angels who were gone before us. I will hibernate in the shadows, puzzled over whether it's depth or shallowness that urges me onwards. I could have chosen an easier road for myself. I'm just becoming more isolated, upsetting and off-putting. Weep for the briefest of moments, then rejoice with me for the rest of eternity. My happiness is not exclusively found in my ability to access the minds and hearts of people all over the world in an instant. I picked that rocky road because I thought I might explode like a nuclear bomb if I stayed inside the confines of that building any longer. I crave the great outdoors. I need you calling by the shore, drawing me to your side once more. The birds are singing out your name. The cows and chickens do the same. The buffaloes are lowing. My love for you is growing deeper by the day. We don't all express our love for you in the same way. I know we need community, but more than people, we need you, Redeemer. You plant those seeds of faith in our hearts. They take root and establish your territory in us. You are the shepherd who guides us away from crooked paths. You pick us up every time we fall down and cause injury to ourselves and our choices in those we select to listen to and make our monsters. Selfishness does not compute with servitude, so I tread on the path of hermitage. All of us have different vehicles for self-expression, worshipping you by giving 100%, offering our best to you in all we do, committed to a lifestyle of excellence, not compromising our convictions for anyone or anything. No shiny diamond ring, no poison dripping hells and nightmares, painted up to look like paradise will deceive our perceptions, guided by your discernment. Remove all this dirt and rottenness in me, improve me with your words of life, giving me strength to go the distance when I feel like I'm straying from your will. Push to view as corrupt decisions that are morally neutral. I just get tired of being read out and burned out, unable to sleep because the snoring bores holes in my subconsciousness, pulled out of the stream of my dreams. Did you catch me screaming with tears welling up out of my eyes? First trickling, then pouring in flash floods down my cheeks. This isn't the kind of life I would have picked up for myself from your collection.
If I was but given an option, maybe I'd decide to never have been born, rather than to cause everyone who bothers to show affection to meet so much pain. I don't know if the world would be better or worse off without me. I know you have a purpose for me. That's why you purchased my freedom with your blood on the cross. You made a road to heaven for me with your body. You laid it down and I trod on it as it transformed into a bridge between the side and earth and those beckoning pearly gates. Soon will come my reckoning. I'm wrecked on the shores of your heart. This ship of faith is stranded on a desert island. I build my wall so high no one can reach on over to me and penetrate my cracked view of the world. They say I'm broken beyond repair, that drugs will just postpone my despair. Like alcoholics coming down from a hangover eventually. But when I'm soaring in your presence, no one can touch me. Nobody can bring me to the ground from those glory clouds. When will I learn to stop damaging my corneas, affecting my vision by rubbing my itching eyes? Is this the long-term consequences of the activity I was participating in far more frequently than I do these days? Which purpose it would make me go blind? Perhaps it destroyed my spirit and mind instead of my physical purpose. But there is nothing that is big you but a grave that you can't resurrect. It seems so many of us are content with floating above the surface, never exploring beyond the iceberg tip of each other's lives. I believe your face is just as smiling and happy and full of laughter behind closed doors as it is when you're the center of attention up on stage. It doesn't mean you seek it, cause you aim above else to draw their focus to their Lord and make it instead. Your self-worth is not determined by any human interaction but due to the Virgin's womb, containing the key to eternal life. In the body of the Son she was a vessel for, a holding self what was never hers, though he gave her the honor of calling her mother, and never bothered to qualify it by clarifying whether she was related by blood or adoptive steps. Don't think I am not in possession of a beating heart. It isn't so closed off that I can't find room for you in my life. I want you to take up every part of it. Leave no stone unturned or room undisturbed. Flip over new leaves if you must. With the whipping wind of your spirit stir me up. There's bones of contention I've chewed on for far too long. You can let sleeping dogs lie. Even when they refuse to die, you can lock them up and never let them out of their cages again. Do you harbor any guilt of your actions towards me? It doesn't matter if you do, so long as you're prepared to always welcome me with open arms. I call out to you as you skate on by. We float past each other like junks coming in and out of pots' mouths. Should I just close my eyes and pretend your culture doesn't exist? It's not as if it ever was an issue coming in between us. Or maybe I'm misguided and I only view what I want to see in you today. Don't look back, keep moving forward, that's what they say. But what if the past still has a lesson to teach us in hindsight? Let us scribe down these current events for posterity, so when we recollect their twisting and spinning, we might glimpse the wisdom yet hidden behind them. Immediately out of reach in our present state of mind, if our hands could join and our feet tread upon the land of the holy, where our Savior once stood, in that woody hillock, the soil absorbing his blood-soaked tears. Can we imagine such agony, separation, anxiety? No child likes being ripped away from the arms of his or her parents, yet alone enduring a torturous ordeal. On top of it, my God, you have come through for me more times than I can count. I don't always know when it's you speaking, or the enemy attempted to bring confusion and delusions. I have no illusions about your grandeur, for every disease you possess, the cure tucked in the apothecary of your belt. Truth is wrapped around your waist, girded about your loins. Oh, guardian of my heart, take this widow's mind's worth of coins, use it for your will. Multiply my blessings as you distill your guidance, spreading it to the whole world. Instill in me the good governance, to bring out the yearning for your embrace, even in the CPU of those who reject and remain in ignorance of you. It grieves your heart and it breaks mine too, to see your world who still remembers yet claims to have forgotten you. How much of your word do they know for themselves? How deep did they dig inside your heart? How little do they pour out their hearts to you, yet you take every drop as if it's golden and true? How far have we drifted from you? Bring us back again to that purity and perfect alignment with you, your divine will.
Talk about the darkness, but please shine a little light of Jesus' love within its black and nicotine-lung midst. You can say, don't worry, be happy, but I let that fear whisper in my ear for far too long.
I'm much too used to its voice. It's louder than the one guiding me to make the right choice quite often. Is this the sensible route that I should take? I may endure feelings, but at least I'm home and host. Despite the cold meals and chilly shoulders that occurred as a result, I only accept responsibility when it's truly my fault. That you are unhappy because of me. Surely you don't clutch those grievances close to your chest like rabbits packed in tightly in a hutch, or a mother hen gathering its chicks near to her breast. I can't rest with all these troublesome thoughts spinning like a merry-go-round, beating me up like the wings of a hummingbird through the air. What's up with me and my lack of energy these days? All I seem to want to do is sleep. I can barely chase myself out of bed. I've got plenty of reasons to rejoice. My chariot of fire is more reliable than any Rolls Royce. I can depend on you to be my friend when all my buddies are gone. You lend me your ears and listen to my plea. You have always been there for me when I'm begging down on both bended knees, crying for your help and mercy. You don't abandon me in my time of desperation, in my hour of desolation. My soul is dedicated to you, Lord. When I go to parks and engage in other recreational activities, you are here with me. When I trudge the hard yards, hoping to earn across the honest way, struggling to make a decent wage, doing what I'm most passionate about instead of what holds the least interest to me. Yet it's within my capacity. So quicken up the pace, see if I can keep up with all those plucked up my gut, with all those younger faces. Those whippersnappers forcing me to eat their dust with their dapperness. All the daffodils have been plucked out my garden bed. One wrong turn could land me in the drink. You don't need a psychologist to shriek your skull and wear it right around their neck. My cup is full and running over thanks to Jehovah. Lord, help me out. Cause your little trout is lost in the wilderness. You know my natural inclination towards beastliness. I feast upon the sight of your miracles with my eyes working like teeth. Capture me with a greater passion for you. Let it blaze like fire underneath my bones and skin. I enter your courts with a heart of thanksgiving, marveling at your wonders and grace. I never thought I was good enough to tread through into the holy of holies, not wanting to make a mockery of you, saying I was willing to leave my sinful habits behind. Then turning right around and repeating the same pattern I have followed for 3/4 of my life so far. Only you can rescue my heart. When these dark intents come lurking around my door, wanting to pull me back in beyond the flaps of their tent, stoking the coals of resentment in me. Oh, how crazy is my envy, just because I'm not the one who got blessed to walk down the aisle and give her my half of genetics, sharing in the creation of a child, with the most important aspect being Jehovah's sparkling breath of life, watching over this little one wherever they go, leading them to brighter tomorrows, a child of prophecy and yet to be completely realized dreams and hopes, bringing for fulfillment and completion to the lives of two souls torn apart by family feuds and the endless marathon heat to get enough to eat and help your relatives too. You assist in my persistence. You bring meaning to my existence. I know I can go the distance with you living in this heart of mine, though I may leave people dazed and confused. How could I be so disloyal? Why would I pick this path of solitude? Look at where it gets me. See what it yields me. Am I running on empty, or do I need you to drain out all the contamination of the world that has gotten blocked up in me, stopping you from flowing through me and using me in the most effective way? Let me be your lamp, blazing for your love in dark places. In the corners of these horror-struck corridors, you're a matador, standing in between I and the balls of the enemy, keeping them from going me, pierced by sharp horns and vigilant eyes, quick to spot a trigger for their rage, controlled by the animal-like emotion, finding themselves unable to resist the potion of that delicious urging that destroys their family and wrecks everything in their peripheral vision. How is it possible to can this heat, to send it back to the pits of hell where it came from? Remember that little kid who wasn't always flashing with fury, pushing that monstrous energy deep down inside, shoving the garbage in the bin, driving it deeper with a well-placed foot. We used to jump on it to fit more in, bubbles appearing all over our skin, so we look like a tribe of Rice Krispies. When they burst, you better not stand too close to us, or you might get your visors decorated with tiny drops of venom-laced spittle. Cruelty doesn't develop overnight. It takes time to convince the one that owns that they are acting in a loving manner even when they're being hateful. They are just doing what it takes to solve a problem and make it go away, go far away. But what they don't realize is in the scorching temperature of that moment they are adding to their mountain of woes, not depleting from its height in the slightest. I stand in judgment only because I've been shown a more virtuous path. I thank God for my folks for teaching me to walk away with diffusing situations rather than allowing them to steal the purity and happiness away from me, which He placed within my heart, life and heart. We seem to have remotes for everything these days, yet still we are at a loss to stumble across one that will help to control ourselves. Explore the nuances of this mindset. We exist for more than just fattening our own pockets. Is this a road of bravery or laziness, choosing naivety over corruption gained through unwanted revelations given to me at an early age? You are not your parents. Their salvation won't get you into heaven. Neither will their lack of it act like a ball and chain dragging you down beneath this planet. I get why you'd be upset. I see the reason for your eyes being soaking wet with teardrops. It's difficult to bridle your disappointments when they seem to be tugging you over the edge of a ravine, but keep revering the dearest of hearts. Don't let anything keep you from nestling in its love, though you may be wrestling with warriors from worlds beyond our own. They who only wish to destroy us, who don't possess a single adjective or thimbleful of compassion between. Oh Lord, help us to love our enemies. We will never cease to celebrate every single victory or the ground you've gained, so we can remain in your holy temple all our days. Let us be exemplary. Make them wonder what they're missing out on when they see the joy of Jesus in us. Let them get that hunger and want Him for themselves, more than air or chow.
Till my limbs be lifeless, let me revel in your priceless heart. I tried to keep my mind from wandering, but it had already traveled down the trails of 1,000,000 miles away. Life will bring its fair share of trials. It doesn't always seem like we have been dished out in equal portion. I hadn't the nerve to work up the courage to ask you to do something to change the person the world perceives you as. See how I do. I tell you to walk in your shoes. You how I may fail more times than I succeed. Then I will be left laughing at the other side of my face. Can you seal the deal? Pick the last drop from the pile. Add in one more dilly bag. Might break that camel's back, causing it to snap under pressure to perform. Is it all just entertainment, or does it serve a higher purpose, reminding us of the one who purchased our freedom with His blood? Does it result in true life change? Unless chains are being broken and strongholds are being demolished, something is wrong with this pretty and overly polished picture we present. What happened to our innocence? How did it get lost in the rank and file of this rat race? What became of the integrity of our hearts? Was chasing celebrity status what killed our childlike faith? Our man is passing. We are more than just passengers passing through this world. Onwards onto the next one. Ascend and conquer that approaching hill. Not all things dead will be resurrected, like the love of friendship, when its memory gives you chills. God didn't forsake us, He just made us, and clung to our side, willingly forgave us every moral discrepancy and misdemeanor. Washed by His blood, cleansed by His grace, purified of all the pollution this world throws down our throats every day. On the television and radio everywhere we turn, you give us a door of escape. Is it only found in our dreams? No, we discover it for real in your word. Spoken and written in our flea-bitten apartment, you are still present. Since the day you decided to jump in my heart and take up residence, be my king and president, let your will take precedence over my own. Lay my life down before your holy throne. You are crowned with a multitude of heraldic symbolism, resplendent in the jewelry of your glory and honor. Manifest your power from my first until my final hour. Let my soul not be devoured by the enemy. Free me from all jealousy and enmity. Let me rejoice at the success of my brothers and sisters. Though I wish at times I could have their life, truly I wouldn't swap mine for the world. Though I'd like to travel more and be a legend at what I do well. I'm grateful that you picked me up each time I fell. I've got a testimony of your redemption that I'm willing and able to tell. For anyone willing to listen,
till I know you always do. Your ears are never closed to me. You don't stick your fingers in them and pretend that you can't hear me. It hurts when people do that. I'm blessed by your constant attempts to keep in contact. You cut through all the static and the fuzz in me. If we do as he does, the world might be set free today. Wouldn't that be awesome and amazing? Not to be prisoners of our anger or lust. Not to be so prideful that we think we got it all together when secretly we're falling apart. Let's not try to dress it up and gloss the issue over. I don't need a rabbit's foot or four-leaf clover because I got you, dog. No magic potion or tragic notions of gaining mountain peaks through my own steam is going to stop you from reigning supreme over my life, because I've never ceased desiring you, despite everything that gets in the way of seeking your face. Though I deceive myself and feed myself and grieve because of distance I've achieved and grown. When I begin throwing away the foundations I built my life on, I want to follow your calling wherever it is that you happen to be leading me, even if there's danger and witness involved. There was a time when this environment was alien to me. I was determined to stick it out, even though it sensed some hostility. Or maybe it was just a natural offshoot of intruding, where I wasn't wanted and I didn't belong, until I managed to convince that world of my usefulness to them. To some people, we are only good for what they can get out of us. For others, they connect to us as a friend, seeing something worth holding on to in us. I failed to be the kind of friend that keeps those stumbling blocks from approaching. I didn't protect from danger, not staying connected. Am I responsible for the actions of my brothers and sisters, those fathers, mothers, aunties, and uncles, cousins, even in the faith? If only I had known how fast the love from this community had grown towards me. If I could appreciate the speedy fertilizing, every time the boat of our friendship felt like capsizing, baptizing it in the drink, wondering what was I thinking, and abundance of questions. Could have been the depth of our companionship. They would have much preferred me to be seen and not heard, the life of the party, but never the guru of wisdom, dispensing unwanted advice willingly to anyone who was willing to listen, who was willing to hear, and even those who weren't. I saw sports as a bridge, but didn't bother to skip across it. Fears of my ill health keeping me from pursuing that path. It can be a blazing lightsaber, not in the ice walls that form around people's hearts. Music can do the same thing, make you feel like a queen or a king for a while up on stage. It's like an out-of-body experience, like when the Holy Spirit hits me suddenly in the audience, and I start jumping around out of my own accord. Though you can call it spontaneous eruptions of motion, for lack of a better term to describe the vibe that I get whenever I'm before the altar, blazing up sacrifices of worship to the one and only Lord of Saints, and sinners who repent. Seeing how they can be winners if they just relent, holding on to control of their souls. Who said we were ever in the driver's seat? We just pick who takes the wheel and steers our destiny. I never doubt for one moment that it's possible for us to truly remain free from hell's chains, to be so bubbling with joy that we can hardly contain it. This love, how can we explain it to a world that just doesn't get it? Don't let them forget it. Lord, not now, not ever. You're so kind of clever, so tender-hearted. Please sever the ties to the enemy that still remain in my life. I know I have to set a watchman at the gates of my ears and eyes. Guard my mouth so it speaks only sweetness, not slime. Forgive me, Lord, for the pointless arguments, for the times when I may have won the war and lost a dear friend. In my life, you made that difference. I reference the cross always as the reason why I'm able to turn the tables in my life. Babel doesn't have a hold on me anymore. Filthy lucre may feed my family, but it isn't the origin of my lasting happiness. Okay. Peace out.